4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is
Record.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
A classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca. Now, what comes to your mind when you think of a kite? That's what I thought, a child's toy. However, as we learned yesterday, this child's toy may be the answer to our energy problem. And we're going to find out more today. Well, today's lesson is called Kite Power. And I have a few words that I would like you to look out for. The first is foresight, and the next is a phrase, in the long run. Okay, friends, you know what to do. Open up your magazines, and let's get started.
Kite power. Meanwhile, in Italy, researchers are working on a similar power generator that relies on kites. When the generator, called KiteGen, senses the wind blowing, kites are released from the ends of poles with high-resistance cables to control their height and angle. These cables are able to move the kites if the system senses incoming objects such as planes, helicopters, or even individual birds. The kites themselves are light, tough, and able to reach fairly high altitudes. They loop around in the wind, which sets the core of the generator in motion, producing electric current.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 首先我们看的是 incoming 这个形容词。incoming 是指进来的或者是正来临的。例如 The incoming flights are circling as they wait for their turn to land. 进来的班机正在盘旋，等着轮到他们可以降落。或者是 I haven't had time to check my incoming email today. 我今天还没有时间看寄来的电子邮件。或者是 My last incoming call was from my mom. 我的最新一通来电是妈妈打来的。接下来我们看的是 core 这个名词。core 在这里是指核心或中心。例如 The core of Mars is composed of sulfur, iron, and nickel. 火星的核心是由硫磺、铁及镍所组成的。core 也指核心或关键的事物。例如 The core of the training program is to help students develop problem-solving skills. 这个训练课程的核心就是帮助学生培养解决问题的能力。core 也指水果的核，例如 Mike planted the core of a pear and it actually grew into a tree. Mike 把一颗梨子的核拿去种，结果真的长成了一棵树。
Alrighty, here we are back again with our kite to talk about kite power.
Yeah, good luck harnessing the energy of the wind from that kite.
Yeah, well, I wasn't planning to do that, but it's fun to have a kite here to show you all what a kite looks like.
But is that what the kite looks like that these research groups are using? They've designed these kites to fly in the sky. Do they have cute pandas on them?
No, of course not, Gabe. We'll see some pictures of those later. But right now, we're going to get right into our lesson, and our lesson starts out with the word meanwhile. In Italy, researchers are working on a similar power generator that relies on kites. Now, you see the word meanwhile. What does this word mean? Well, you can use this word to mean that something else is currently happening at the same time.
Yeah, so at the end of yesterday's lesson, we learned about this group of researchers from the Netherlands and Germany working on something with kite power. Meanwhile, in Italy, at the same time in Italy, other people are trying the same thing. Okay, here's another example of how to use the word meanwhile. Mom went shopping. Meanwhile, I cleaned the house. Or, I'll be back soon. Meanwhile, just keep working.
Okay, excellent examples. So meanwhile, in Italy, researchers are working on a similar power generator that relies on kites. When the generator, called kite gen, senses the wind blowing, kites are released from the ends of poles with high resistance cables to control their height and angle. Now that's a lot of words. What am I talking about? What does that look like? Well, here is a picture of what I just described.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of words, and it looks like it takes a lot of energy as well. As you could see, those kites are huge.
And as you can see, this kite looks nothing like the kite I'm holding.
Right, exactly. So we read about these cables. These cables are able to move the kites if the system senses incoming objects such as planes, helicopters, or even individual birds. Sounds like Kite Gen is a smart generator.
And it sounds like they had a lot of foresight when designing Kite Gen. Now you see the word foresight here on the screen, but not in your lesson. But it's a good word for you to know. What is foresight? It's the ability to judge what will happen in the future and then plan ahead or plan actions based upon this knowledge and understanding.
Now, foresight is one of those things that comes naturally for some people, and for other people, it's important to develop good foresight. I want to develop better foresight in my own life. If you don't have foresight, we could use the phrase a lack of foresight. Okay, for example, I went on a trip a couple years ago with my siblings to Indonesia. And I have to say, planning a trip to a beach area destination without checking the weather is an example of bad foresight or a lack of foresight. It rained the entire time we were there.
You didn't check the weather?
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Who does that? Who refuses or forgets or fails to check the weather before going to the beach?
I'm guilty, yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Well, that's a great example of someone who didn't have any foresight in that particular situation. Well, anyway, it seems like Kite Gen, seems like they do have a lot of foresight because the cables are able to move the kites if the system senses incoming objects such as planes, helicopters, or even individual birds. So they were able to think about these things ahead of time or when they were building this particular generator.
Exactly. And we read here the kites themselves. Okay, so we've been learning about the process and the planning behind Kite Gen. Now we're talking about the kites themselves. These objects are light, tough, and able to reach fairly high altitudes. That's a good thing. The strong winds are up there. They loop around in the wind, which sets the core of the generator in motion, producing electric current.
And I like that phrase, to set something in motion. This just means that you begin something.
That's right. You set it in motion. It makes me think about actually a theory that some people have, and that is, I guess you could say it's deism. That's the idea that there is a God, but that all he did was he created the universe and everything, and he set it in motion. And then he took a step back and he's not involved anymore. I don't believe in that. I'm a theist. That means I believe God created us. He set us in motion. And he's very involved in our lives. He didn't just set everything in motion.
That's right. And here in our lesson, though, we're talking about how these kites loop around in the wind, which sets the core of the generator in motion, producing electric current. Gabe, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of getting the wind of something.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I must have eaten something terrible for lunch. Hey, I have an idea. Let's go to the info cloud.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to InfoCloud. Today, we are going to talk about how you can get wind of something.
This is an interesting expression. It makes me think of animals that use their sense of smell to pick up on things going on around them.
For example, another way to say pick up on the scent of something or smell something is to get wind of something.
Predators will often get wind of prey long before they see them. But humans can also get wind of something, even though they use another sense.
Hearing. When you hear of something happening, you learn about something happening.
So we also talk about people getting wind of something to mean that they find out about something.
If people ever get wind of how awful the CEO of that company is, I'm sure their sales will drop as a result.
When my wife gets wind of how much I had to spend on hotels last month, we're going to have a serious talk about our finances.
Many times, this expression is preceded by if or when, but it can also be used to confirm that someone has heard of something. We got wind of the upcoming changes yesterday.
中文的风声除了代表真正的风吹过来的声音之外，还有得到小道消息的含义。英文也有相同的表达 get wind of something。例如 I got wind of his cancer diagnosis。我听说他被诊断出癌症。或是 I got wind of who's going to be promoted。我得到消息知道谁将要被升职。通常 get wind of 大多用在还没公开的消息，但也可以用在已经证实的事情。例如 We got wind of the upcoming changes yesterday. 我们昨天听到那些即将要变动的消息。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are learning about kites. But not just any type of kite. We're learning about the type of kites that are big, that can be used to produce energy. Is that even possible? Well, of course, because that is what our lesson is all about. And KiteGen is an organization that is doing research to find out how kites can be used to produce energy. Well, let's learn more about KiteGen now.
Kite power. KiteGen has the potential to be very cost-effective in the long run. After the initial cost of designing and setting up the plant, little additional investment will be necessary, apart from standard maintenance. The plant also requires relatively little space, which makes it ideal for cities and means that multiple plants can be set up to provide even more energy. Kite power has the potential to greatly improve on current wind power strategies. In the future, it may be an efficient, cost-effective supplement to the other sources of energy we use, or even a replacement for some of them.
OK， 接下来我们看的是 maintenance 这个不可数名词 ，M-A-I-N 这个字根有手的意思，所以 maintenance 是指维护、维修或者是保养。注意它的重音是在第一音节，念成 maintenance。例如 ，The elevator is temporarily closed for maintenance。这台电梯因为要保养，暂时关闭。它的动词是 maintain，M-A-I-N-T-A-I-N。这个时候它的重音就跑到第二音节，念成 maintain。例如 ，It costs a lot to maintain a private jet。要维护保养一架私人飞机要花很多钱。最后我们看的是 supplement 这个名词， ple 这个字根有填满的意思，所以 supplement 在这里是指补充物。例如 Ricky's pay from his second job is a supplement to his family income。Ricky 的第二份工作的工资是拿来补贴家用的。如果是复数的 supplements 是指营养补充品或者是维他命。例如 Steve takes vitamin supplements every day。Steve 每天都会吃综合维他命补充品。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Well, let's get right into our lesson here. Kite Gen has the potential to be very cost-effective in the long run. And before we continue, we're going to talk about the phrase in the long run, and I think it will really benefit you in the long run. What does this phrase mean? Well, it just means that at a time that is far away in the future.
That's right. And we usually use this phrase to compare to or contrast whatever is happening now. So we're learning about these companies that want to harness wind with kites, and it takes a lot of energy and money to do this and to figure out how to do it effectively. But it's costing a lot of money now, but in the long run, it will save money. Starting a business takes a lot of your money at first, but you can make it all back in the long run if you do well.
After the initial cost of designing and setting up the plant, little additional investment will be necessary apart from standard maintenance. So maybe initially when you're getting this plant set up, it will be quite expensive, right?
Right.
But then later on, in the long run, you'll actually end up saving money. But let's talk about this other phrase that I mentioned, and that is the phrase apart from. And this just means except for or not consisting of something else.
Yeah, so you could say, the restaurant was pretty good apart from the service or the attitude of the servers. The restaurant was pretty good. So everything was great except for the attitude of the servers.
That's right. And in our lesson, when we're talking about these plants, after the initial cost of designing and setting up the plant, little additional investment will be necessary apart from, or you could say, except for standard maintenance. So does this sound like a project that you would be interested in being involved with, Gabe?
No, I just have different interests in life, but I am very happy that there are many people who are investing their lives and energy into this. We read on here, the plant also requires relatively little space, which makes it ideal for cities and means that multiple plants can be set up to provide even more energy. And I think this is great. So it's not a power plant that takes up a lot of space and is ugly. I don't know how ugly it is, but at least it doesn't take up a lot of space in a city.
And that in itself is definitely a plus. Kite power has the potential to greatly improve on current wind power strategies. So since it has the potential to, does that mean that it also has the potential not to greatly improve on current wind power strategies?
Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, that's the idea behind having the potential. You could potentially do something or not. But I'm more curious about these words you see on the screen, to improve on something.
Ooh, I'm glad that you mentioned those words, Gabe. If you improve on something, this just means that you do something in a better way or with better results than before.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the idea of improving. Of course, we all want to improve every day. Almost every day I say, your English will improve today. So here we see the word improve with the word on. Okay, so how can you use this phrase? Well, how can you improve on the progress that we've made? Okay, this company has made a lot of progress, and there's more things that we can do. Maybe it's your job. How can you improve on this progress?
And kite power has the potential to greatly improve on current wind power strategies. I think the idea behind this is that there's a lot of hope that kite power actually will improve on current wind power strategies.
Right.
Because, the lesson says, in the future, it may be an efficient, cost-effective supplement to the other sources of energy we use.
or even a replacement for some of them. I know that solar power, there are a lot of improvements on solar power technology, and so hopefully we can use the wind in even better ways. Now, Rebecca, you asked me earlier if I would like to be involved in this, or if this is something I would like to be involved in. Maybe you were asking because you would like to be more involved in this?
Well, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that there are people interested in this.
Yeah, exactly.
But maybe not for me.
Yeah, maybe not for you. We like being teachers here at Studio Classroom. Friends, thank you for joining us. We have a great way to end this program. As usual, let's go and enjoy a review skit.
The quest for new clean energy sources has occupied the attention of scientists and politicians for years.
Benjamin Franklin here. I'm using a kite to explore new energy resources.
Excuse me, Ben, but flying a kite in a thunderstorm is not a good idea.
But lightning is a source of powerful energy.
Well, powerful, yes, but dangerous. Think about another common resource for energy, like the wind.
The wind? But that's so old-fashioned.
Oh, true, but a new twist on wind could cause the energy output to soar.
Really? What's the new twist?
Well, reaching higher, where the wind tends to be stronger and more consistent.
But figuring out how to harness higher winds would be a challenge.
You're right, but now there's a kite power research group.
Kite power? Count me in.
Well, the group is working to develop kites with inflatable wings connected to electrical generators on the ground.
Inflatable wings?
Yes, and their goal is to design a kite that can operate on its own for 24 hours.
Has it gotten off the ground?
Well, yes, but challenges remain. Meanwhile, others are working on a power generator that relies on kites.
Amazing! What's a power generator?
Well, what's important is this. Kite power has the potential to greatly improve wind power strategies. And in the future, kite power may be an efficient, cost-effective supplement to other sources of energy. Understand?
Yes. Kites aren't just children's toys. They may solve our problems. Energy problems. I knew it.
Yes, yes. Benjamin, let's talk inside. Well, this thunder is horrible.
You know, Gabe, I'm really glad that there are people out there who are interested in kite power and seeing that kite power does succeed. But for me, I do think I'm going to stick with my toy kite.
Hey, speaking of toys, our next lesson is called From a Toy to a Sport. Friends, make sure you join us then next time right here on Studio Classroom. Okay, let's go fly a kite.
A friend gives at all times. A friend cares at all times. A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.